Haoma, that means how are you in Chinese. So, I am Abigail, Myrrh, and I'm going to tell you something about Chinese Filipino literature, its definition, and the true story passed by Carol. Also talking about the brief summary of the Chinese Filipino history.
I'm Cheryl Yurong, just call me Anche. I'm going to tell you about the significance of Chinese Filipino literature, the generation of Chinese Filipino writers.
I'm Rene, Quinamot Jr. and I'm going to discuss about the issue concerning the Filipino Chinese literature.
The theme of many Chinese Philippine writings, whether in English, Filipino, or Chinese,
I am Abigail Myrrh,
And I am Cheryl Yurong.
and you are watching Chinoy News. So what's our first update, Ange?
Well, what is about Chinese Filipino literature, or what is Chinese Filipino literature?
Yes, and for that, we have my twin sister, Gail Young. Come on in, Gail! Chinese Filipino literature, or Chinese Filipino literature. First, I would like to define what is a Chinese Filipino. A Chinese Filipino is a Filipino of Chinese ancestry, born and raised in the Philippines. It came from it's derived from the two words Chino, meaning Chinese, and Pinoy, the slang word for Filipino. According to Charles Hall, Chinese Filipino literature is a literature written by Filipinos for Filipinos, which is often the language of their dreams and thus of their. According to Charles Hall, a bridge too far, Chinese Filipino literature is a new literature and young literature, just written at the moment. The Filipino Chinese ethnic group is the largest ethnic Filipino group in the country, with Chinese immigrants comprising the largest group of immigrant settlers in the Philippines. The practitioners are Filipinos of Chinese descent, usually natural-born citizens, whose first language is not Chinese but usually and often Filipino. Well, thank you for that, Gail. Yes, indeed. Filipino Chinese or Chinese Filipino literature is a literature written by Chinese Filipinos, may it be in English, Filipino, or Chinese. I think you're wondering about the generation of Chinese Filipino writers in the Philippines. Well, here's my partner in the studio, Miss Yurong.
The generation of Chinese Filipino writers. According to Dr. Susie Tan in her study, Chinese language literature in the Philippines described three such generations of writers. The first generation is the generation of immigrants who came in the 30s and who were educated in China and influenced in May 4, 1919, a new literature movement in China. The second generation is the generation of Philippine-born Chinese who received bilingual education and who started writing in the 60s. And finally, the present or the third generation of writers is consisting mostly of the new immigrants from China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan who came during the 70s and 80s. The third generation of writers write mostly in English or a Filipino because these are the languages they are better equipped in. A majority choose English over Filipino since they are mostly educated in Catholic and Protestant school, which traditionally stress the use of English.